Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the interview. Today I got a good friend, man, very motivational brother. My frat brother, y'all may know him as Uno. I know him as Chris, also Uno. Some people may even know him as Bruno. Who
Yeah.
knows? But we don't talk about Bruno. We talk about Uno. But ladies and gentlemen, introduce you my homeboy, Christopher Collins, man.
All
Thanks for
right,
coming through,
man.
bro.
No problem, man. I'll be around. Sometime.
So let's jump right into it. Let people know who you are and where you from
Um.
and what you do. Sorry.
Okay. Well, my real name is Christopher Collins. That's my government mom given name. I'm from Los Angeles, California. Right now I'm a dean at a high school. I'm heavy in education, and I just kind of just push the limits of anything that aspires or entails greatness. That's really just about me. I work in education, and today will be my last day in my doctoral program.
Hey,
I,
congratulations, man.
thank you. I'll be a doctorate as of tomorrow in educational leadership, trying to be a college president.
Yeah, and that's always been your goal. You say you're from LA now. When we talk about that, people got to understand where, because LA is so big and everybody's from LA. If you can pass any from LA almost.
True, true,
So,
true.
what part of LA are you from?
I'm from like the real. This is the real LA. So I'm 39th and Crenshaw. Y'all may know where the district is, or but that's where like across the street from the Wiener Schnitzel, you got where the boys in the hood was shot. Menace to Society coming down when they shot over their boy at the Jack in the Box. I'm live right in there, like Lamert Park, King, Crenshaw. They call it exposition or Obama now, rodeo Obama. But yeah, that I'm like right there in the heart of it. So I'm in the actual city of Los Angeles, South Central, as they say.
And you say 39 from Crenshaw.
Yeah,
All right,
39th
so
and
I like to
Crenshaw.
get cross street so people can get a vantage point
Yeah.
because they don't really know. You can be in the valley or something. So what was it like growing up on 39th and Crenshaw? Like you right in the mix of everything. You an 80s baby. So what was your experience?
Um, growing up, I mean, it was cool. I went to Baldwin Hills Elementary School. I actually before I lived, I kind of got there in about third grade, but before that, I lived in Pasadena, California, quiet as kept. So I was out there for about the first maybe 5, 6 years of my life. Then once we moved over to like I said, 39th and Crenshaw area, we went to Baldwin Hills Elementary. I actually went to Christian school for middle school and high school at West Angeles Christian Academy. Then I went to Price on 79th in Vermont. So that was different from your common public school, nice niched small school feel. And then yeah, just grew up, played sports, football.
And you said it was private school, right?
Yeah, private school.
So you was able. So do you think, like, what different experience do you think you would have had if you would have went to a public school? Which was your home school? Was it Crenshaw or was it
My home school, I believe, was Dorsey. I mean,
Dorsey?
I was right on the. Both of them was 2 miles from the house, but I think
Right.
Dorsey, and plus my mom, she worked at the continuation at View Park, so probably Dorsey. You think what would have been the
Like,
difference?
do you think that that made a difference based on what school you went to?
I would have to say so. Just knowing what I know now in education, because I went to small schools coming up in middle school and high school. So I mean, so when you're dealing with just anywhere from 200 to 80 students, and then you got a populace of 2,000 out of your major high school, yeah, that's definitely gonna play a role. So I mean, you can call. I mean, if I was sheltered or if I was in, more, more attention getting academic environments, I think, yeah, that definitely played a role. And even some of the peers too that I had, I didn't really have a lot of, friends growing up in high school, but that could play a role in it too, so to speak. Yeah.
Because I always think that regardless of however it was for you, there's you got pros and you got cons. Like that's just what it.
Hmm.
That's just what it is. What do you think were some of the cons of not going to, I guess, Dorsey or the major public school in your area?
I think one of the cons was just I think when you're in the smaller private schools, maybe sometimes those black smaller private schools, like if you it's if you do good, it's kind of celebrated and things of that nature. And you're kind of expected to go. to college, and it's a real tight niche feel. But when you go to these bigger, larger, major high schools that are kind of more of a microcosm of society, you're dealing with all kind of things. Like you're dealing with drugs, gangs, uh, bullies, and all that can affect like your academic trajectory or just you as a person. So like when you got those tightened walls instead of those big, wide, robust walls, then yeah, it could be very different. But I think one of the cons was like I said, I didn't really mix. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up in high school. I maybe had like three or four. I didn't really go out that much. I didn't really go to party. I went to maybe like some of the school related functions, but I wasn't like at that typical house party or nothing like that. So I don't know if that is a con or a pro, but I was kind of just, to myself, so to speak.
You think you would have been more of an extrovert had you went to a bigger high school or a bigger school in general, or public school, should I say?
I I don't think I would have been an extrovert. I probably would have had to learn how to survive or cope with a lot more things
Mm-hmm.
early on, but I don't think I would have been. I think I'd been okay to get by this. I need to do this to survive this. I need to do this to
Mm-hmm.
get by this group of students. I need to do this. Oh, they with them. I'm not with them. So I think I would have been more on a swivel had I have been to maybe one of the larger schools, so to speak.
Now on the flip side, what was a pro? I think there's a lot of pros to public private school, but what do you think your pros was?
I I think just I had I just had more attention or the opportunity to learn or kind of ask questions and get stuff. And then I think what kind of, I don't know, added to me was, I was kind of always classified as smart. Like I skipped grades when I was younger. Like I never went to kindergarten, and I graduated high school at 16. So like just academics was just in me. So like just being that, and then plus you in a small environment. So I think achievement was kind of just the standard. So I think that's probably one of the pros of being in those small school settings. And then, I think another possibly a con was, well, my school, we didn't really have like great athletics, high school wise. Basketball we did, but football not so much. And I love football, it's like a passion, but I think that's probably the only drawback. But academically, I think just all those playing a role is kind of what perpetuated me, going in where I'm at today.
And you said something because I know you well. You talk about achievement being like the baseline. I think that you definitely carry that with you today, and we're gonna get into some of that. But just more about you growing up. You said that you was able to avoid a lot of the riffraff because of the school you went to now, but you still lived in a neighborhood that was very much filled with it.
Mm.
So, what was your relationship with the normal LA experience, whether it be gang life, like avoiding it or knowing people? What was your experience like dealing with that?
Well, I had family members that was drunks, like didn't work. I had family members who were in gangs. I had family members who got shot, who got killed. I think realistically, I think the fact that my mom was a teacher and that my grandma was the first African American to graduate from UCLA law, I think that was just something to look up to, or just education was just beat in me. So I think that kind of steered me away. But I mean, like I said, I still had, like I said, family members who did, go were on the wrong route, or who were, trying to find their way, or, when you're in LA, like it's all these different distractions. Like I would see them, but I just knew coming home to my space, like if I want to like make it out, or I want to be something great as I had the role models at home, then that's kind of what I would aspire to be
Um,
like.
did you grow up with both parents in the household?
I did until I was like 6, and my mom, and my dad divorced, and so like, I mean, that was, I was too young to understand at the time, but now as I've like grown up and just, in the circumstances, it kind of, I kind of learned who did what happened. So, I don't, I let that go between both of them. But I do just say I'm thankful for whatever fateful night or day that they had me, or I was conceived, that happened, because my mom, like I said, she's intelligent as a teacher and an educator, and my dad is just I guess brilliant when it comes to just anything, when it comes to building with your bare hands. So like I think I took both of those aspects, and you kind of, get me, but no, they're not together.
What do you think some characteristics that you have now due to your father's presence?
I think from my dad, I'm definitely ambitious. Like I go till the death or till it's done. I don't look at time. I don't look at, oh, we gotta wrap it up. I just go until it's done, no matter what it takes. Sometimes that could be a gift and a curse. I'm very headstrong. um, and then like my dad, like I just like nice things. Like I gotta have, like, I don't want to say I gotta have, but I like wearing the nice clothes. I like being in the nice neighborhoods, driving in the nice cars, being in the nice, settings, rooms, houses, things of that nature. So I think that definitely wore off as far from
You
my
got
dad.
you got expensive taste. That's all it is.
I I got
I
to,
understand. I
bro.
do too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, expensive steak tastes better than cheap steak. I tell you that
Yeah,
much.
yeah, that's true. So I just gotta have the best.
What about your mother? What characteristics do you feel like you have as an adult due to your mother's presence?
Definitely got the whole education thing. I think that was because I remember she used to try to tutor me and teach me, and I used to hate it. So I said I got to do good in school, so she don't got to check my work. But I think the education part, I think my willingness to have a big heart or care for others, I believe, comes from my mom, and probably just being kind of lighthearted. I'm not real like stern. I'm not like, grr in your face, but like, just have a sense of calm and tranquility. I think that's what kind of came from my mom. So that's kind of how I operate on her basis.
And you grew up with siblings. Were they in the house? Were they not in the house? How
I
was that?
I had a sibling, my sister. More people probably know it's my sister probably sometimes any more than they know me. Her name is Stevie. She's, KA Miss Phi Beta Sigma, pageant winner. Shout out to y'all. But yeah, I had a sister, and so my sister. Crazy part about it is, I think she's a little bit more crazier than me. A lot of people think I'm crazy. I do some out of crazy. I'm like, nah, Stevie will like cuss you out. And the difference between me and her is, so Stevie or my sister, she got the math gene. So she's great with numbers. I suck at numbers. Like that's like my kryptonite. You give me anything with words, I'm good. But you put some numbers in front of me, and I'm like, put me in the front of the class. So I think that's kind of like growing up with her, so to speak. Yeah.
And y'all grew up in the same house.
Same house.
So
Yeah.
was
Same. We shared a room sometimes. Sometimes we had our own room, but yeah, we shared the same house.
and did she experience the same school that you went to? Did y'all go to different schools or
Stevie was really into she went to the public school. So like she went to like Hamilton. She bounced around a lot though. So she went to Hamilton, and she went to Laces.
see now it gets interesting because you have two siblings growing up in the same household, eating the same food, but walking a totally different path every day. Why do you think that you stayed in the schools you did and she did different schools? Was that like a choice she made, or was it a parent's choice?
I
Or
don't that's a great I didn't even think about that. Like I don't even know. I think S- Stevie was more social than me in high school, so maybe she just wanted to be around like more people. And then, like I said, she went to Laces, and Laces is like a very esteemed like middle school out here, and so like I think that might have helped her. But she was like, she got the math gene, so I don't know where that took her, what that allowed her to do, and so maybe she just went on to greater or different educational environments than me coming up in high school and stuff. So I was just like, just put me in a classroom. I don't care where it is, I'll succeed. And so my mom kind of just, took me along the route of the Christian school. My sister was like more into the public schools.
okay, yeah. So it seemed like y'all had a little bit of a choice because
Yeah.
this, I'll tell you what, my two kids close enough. There's no way y'all going to this. I'm making one drop off. Are you kidding me? I'm not taking y'all to different schools.
Yeah, it
Y'all,
was
we going wherever y'all go. If wherever you one go, the other one goes.
it
So
was for sure two
but
drop offs.
right. So shout out to moms, shout out to the parents that just allowed that to be a form of expression and allow y'all to kind of get your own experience. I want to jump into you more so as a career choice. You said you dove into education, right? That's what you do professionally,
Hmm.
and if you think that is because of that's kind of what your mom kind of led you to, or why did you even choose education to be a career path?
Uh, I think when I got to college, I changed my major three times. So first it was geology. Then
You wanted to study rocks, bro?
bro, I used to love rocks. Like
Ah,
I could tell you everything about a strike slip, fault line, a rock, a crystal, a quartz. anything about a rock. But
Interesting.
but when they put them numbers in front of me in that physics book, cut. I had to abandon ship. Like I remember looking at that, I was like, "There's no way. It's just not me." So I had to change. And I went to English. English didn't work out, so then I went into public relations and Africana studies. I double majored, so I kind of did that, and then I wanted to work in PR since I was in the fraternity. I was always on the face of something, and then how that go coming out of college. It's just hard to get that first job, and so people was always asking me these college questions like, "Oh, how you do this, or how you do this, or can you help me write a paper, or can you do this, or can you?" So I said, "Just make a career education. Like I just do it naturally." So that's kind of what kind of springboarded me to go back and get my master's and then now my doctorate, so to speak.
So, so you started. What was your first job in education?
My first job in education was, let's see here. I came out of when I came out of undergrad, I worked at a Native American reservation and I was helping to educate the people of the First Nations or the Mono Indians. I was helping them with like family wellness programs. So I was teaching them, how
Where
to
is that even? Where do you even do that at?
bro,
That's in
it's
LA.
no, this was in because I went to Fresno State. So this is in a town which is actually in the exact center of California called North Fork, California. It's a whole Native American reservation. They got like
Okay.
their own gas station, fire stuff, like fire engine, all
Hmm.
that. So I'm there teaching them, just how to live in society and helping the kids, you with academics, go to college. I'm helping people get jobs, resumes. I'm spending goo gobs of money because I get goo gobs of money from the government. So, I was just that was kind of like my first real job in education coming out of college, so to speak, like my first 40K
So,
job.
so was that that was just so you were just teaching them
Yeah,
just
just
kind of
skills, family
life
life
skills?
skills, family
Okay,
skills.
interesting. So yeah, that is definitely education, right? But this was adults. Was it?
Mm,
It wasn't
Yeah, it
children.
was adults or
Okay,
preferably like they call them transitionally aged youth from like 18 to like 24.
right.
That was kind of like
Interesting.
who I was working with.
Okay, so you go from working with the Native American job, and then you go take a step deeper into education, which is
So from there, I kind of I was in Fresno, North Fork. Then I came back to LA, and then LA was just like it's just a tough market to break into, like educate. So I ended up working at a health clinic out here, and I was over 6 support social programs. So I was helping individuals who needed help cleaning their house, provide sexual awareness or health awareness for sexual awareness. I was giving out cleaning kits.
so. Hold on. So have you ever worked as an actual teacher in a classroom?
No,
Now that is mind blowing.
and I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Quiet is kept. I hate teaching. I cannot teach you. I mean, maybe one day I will or I will have to. I just despise teaching because, like I said, my mom's a teacher. So I used to see all the horror stories and hear all the things she would go through. And I said, I can't go through
I was a substitute teacher for
that.
5 years, and I agree.
I
I
and
agree.
and I couldn't come to grips with like teaching, like, because there's just so many deficits. One kid could be here, another kid could be here, and they gotta be at the same high level by the end of the year. And it's just like there's no way when it's 30 of y'all.
It's impossible to keep
And
it
then
right.
they acting up and they talking crazy. Like, there's no way. Like, I will counsel you. I'll give you all the guidance. I'll give you all the gems. I'll show you. But to walk in there, put on the board, teach you, instruct you, and then grade your homework.
So interesting because you trying to get to the top of education, and you saying that you won't, you don't want to be a teacher. What about a college professor then? Let me ask that.
I'll be a counselor. And the thing was, so like when I got my master's, like really my first kind of like my milestone goal was just to be like an EOP counselor, student support counselor, something in that. That was
Right.
it. And I would get all these interviews. I would go interview, and they wouldn't hire me. And so it just came to the point. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get this doctorate. I'm gonna be in charge of all of y'all. because all y'all kept telling me no. So that's kind of like where I am, but where I am now. But like, all I wanted to do at first was just be a counselor. I wanted to work outside the classroom to make you better,
Okay,
to make you better in the classroom. But I
I respect that.
teaching is like, I mean,
No, it's a tough job, man.
yeah, I commend teachers, but I just
Do you think teachers get paid enough?
no, no
What do you think the salary
way.
of an in classroom teacher in elementary should be?
Should be
Yes.
elementary.
If you had to if you were the person who said this deciding the salary for teachers in elementary, what do you think they should get paid in Los Angeles?
Probably at least, yeah, at least 80, at least 80.
What's the average salary of a teacher now?
Bro, like I've seen all these articles. I'm probably gonna say like maybe 50, 40. But
People still getting 40,000
yeah,
as
like
a teacher?
it's
No.
I mean it's let's just say 50. If the mid
Starting
range
off, right? Just
starting
starting
out.
off. Okay.
But I mean when you're developing young minds or people who are supposed to be the next innovators of this world, like and you not paying them, like that's wild.
What you do you think high school you think the salary should be different based on what level or grade level you teaching?
I think I believe the higher you go up on the grade spectrum, you should get paid a little bit more because now it's starting to get more pertinent as you get older because the decisions and the things you do are starting to really impact your life. So I think let's just say ninth grade, if you making 80 at elementary, ninth grade, you need to be making like 120, 130.
I definitely think teachers on the average should get paid six figures
Yeah.
because I think they're much more important and they're much more influential
Right.
at a ground level than
And
entertainers.
yeah, and then on top of that, like I've read in some countries where like being a teacher is like a calling. Like if you a teacher, like you doing it, like you top notch. But like out here, it's like teachers like,
Yeah, in America, I don't think education is at the top of it.
nah,
It's money and entertainment. I think are the first two things
for sure.
that matters most. If we even now use it to educate our kids, we use entertainment aspects to educate, which there's benefit to that. Um, so yeah, so you say you've never taught in the classroom,
I've
and
tutored
you've been in education for how long?
probably since 20. Graduated at 20, so what, 20, 15 years?
15 years, and you ain't never had to teach a class.
I tutor you.
I gotta take my hat off to you, brother, because that is, I feel like most people in education at least went through the classroom stage, maybe not for a long time, but the experience to is that how you get your stripes, or you feel like that's not necessary for
I
you to do
mean,
what you do?
if you want to be a teacher, then go ahead. Like I think I'm fortunate enough to been around enough experiences and mingle and mix and talk and support students on a one-on-one basis and be in classrooms to where I'm not teaching to see like, that's just not a path I can partake on.
Yeah,
Like I support teachers, like don't get me wrong. Like I believe they need as much resources, much help, whatever, especially in my line of work now. Like I bust up in there like Robocop and I'm taking kids out who talking, whatever, doing, whatever. But it's just something that because there's not a lot of attention or there's not a lot of resource behind teaching and with the student that's coming in today, no.
okay, all right. So, we know you're going to be a president of a school of a college,
Yeah.
and I think that's telling my other homeboys, man, you need to be they get paid damn near $500,000.
Yeah, yeah.
When you count all the expenses that they don't have to pay for and all that stuff. So yeah, I tell people out there all the time, man, listen, there are so many jobs that will make you wealthy. You don't have to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think the route you're taking is a lot more sure, actually, to get to that real bag than out here chancing it like me.
Well, I mean, it sounds sure, but then like when you're in the midst of it and you get the realities of just how dim it is, especially being a black man in education, like it's hard. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's as hard as what you entrepreneurs gotta do because every day you don't know like if you're gonna eat or not, be just because it's just off your sheer will. My sheer I guess my line items they come at the expense of someone else. So someone has to make a decision and be like, "Hey, we like him.
I see.
We want him." But I have to impress somebody who's probably 9 out of 10 times doesn't think like me, doesn't look like me, and is not of the same constructs as me.
I'm glad you brought the difference because that I never really thought about it like that. Like somebody else has to give you the thumbs up versus something like me. I create my own
Hmm.
thumb. However, there's challenges. Listen,
Yeah,
challenges that come either way, right?
right.
Um, I want to move a little bit forward to you as an individual and what you do. And you are, I would say, when it comes to fitness and just understanding your own body and pushing your body to a certain point, you probably in that top 3% of people who actually spend time working on themselves physically. You just ran your third marathon.
I did.
Tell me about that. How was why should people run a marathon?
Well, I would just say for all those who, one on one or, it seems, motivational and all that, it's a great barometer of who you are as a person. And that's no necessarily running for time, just to see if you could finish. Because a lot of people, they have these lofty goals, these lofty aspirations. Everybody wants to do these great things, but like if you can't push yourself beyond your normal comfort zone or your normal, just day to day and do something that's gonna like say either you can or you can't do it, you don't even know what you made of. And I think a marathon is like a great, it's just like a great challenge to see, are you really, like you say, who you say you are? Because I remember talking with you, you wouldn't even run 2 miles. You thought that was crazy. And I was like, Keith, you gotta run a marathon.
You know how you got me to do that is because I think it was after Nipsey passing, and everybody was
Yeah,
tattooing marathon on
that's when I
themselves.
ran mine after Nipsey passed. Yeah, I was like, everybody was like screaming around. I was like, I'm gonna go run one.
Like to really get what, and then when you run it, you really understand. I think the metaphors of it too, to really understand what running a marathon truly requires.
Yeah.
It's not just a metaphor. Now you actually know what it means to do so, and you've done it 3 times. You've done it. Why 3 times?
I think the first one was like kind of over like, the nip hype and everybody was screaming. I was like, I'm gonna just go out and do it. I'm gonna just see like, what it's about. And I, figure since I work out a lot, why not? Let's just see. So I finished. My time was all right, like 4:45. Cool. Then I remember I ran it the second time with you and Danny and others, and then because I remember I was like if you sign up, I'll run with you because you wouldn't even run 2 miles.
Right.
And I was like, bro, you talk about. I was like, we gotta start running tens and fives. He's like, no, no, I'm 2 miles. So I said, well, so we all signed up for that one, and we did that one, and my time was 4:11. And in the back of my, I was like, man, I gotta come 4 hours. I got to. And so, like, I was just, going about my day to day. And then I just say, like, man, there was like I was in like a real down place. Like I was, being the ambitious lover that I am, I guess got out of a relationship and I was just in a down place. Like I was just like, man, I need something to motivate me, something to pick me up, something to do something. And I was like, man, I'm gonna run this marathon under 4 hours. I was like, I don't know how. Like I'm at a real low point, but I was like, I'm gonna just give it everything I got. And I trained like crazy. Like I was running in the sand for 6 miles with tension pants on, walking up flights of stairs with 100-pound weight vest on. Like I was at every 24. I was getting no sleep. Mind you, I was still working on my dissertation too. And I was just like, I'm gonna do it. And then when I did it, it was just kind of like a surreal moment.
So would you say some form of depression pushed you to run this third marathon?
I would just say I wasn't myself. I was in a bad place. And usually like in order for me to get back to some form of normal, I gotta do something like drastic, dynamic, something that just ain't common. That's just always
Mm.
been me. And so I was like, I mean, I got enough time to train. Why not run the marathon under 4 hours?
So you think for people who are dealing with depression, finding something that is unlikely of yourself to do, and I think that people do, like they either cut their hair or
Yeah.
they do something that's unlikely that they would do, right? To kind of change.
Yeah, but I like to do something that's gonna challenge you, that's gonna enhance you, that's gonna like
Mhm.
I know we like the aesthetics with the hair and we all want to do this, but do something that's gonna that's gonna pick you up. That's
I'll
gonna
tell you what, ain't nobody in the gym more than a girl who just broke up with her dude last month.
Mm,
Ain't nobody. I swear to God, man, I see more breakups than going to the gym than of all time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she in the gym, she might have broke up with her dude. You know what I mean? So, I feel like I see it all the time. And same thing with dudes. Like I feel dudes when they when people go through something like that, especially when separating from a person, it shakes up your comfort zone
yeah,
because now you kind of gotta get back out here,
yeah,
and you got to be at your highest self to attract.
man.
So I think people just try to naturally, subconsciously get to a higher self than
Mhm.
they were in a relationship. But now I'm trying to remember that, and while I'm in one, and stay at my
Yeah,
higher self.
yeah,
You
and
know,
it's hard when you in one because you gotta cater to people and you want to be there and have time and
time is not all yours
man,
anymore.
no. But I mean, I just knew like I mean now like looking back at it like I'm probably like I probably boosted my whole entire self maybe like at least 5 points from where I was back in like October, November.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Bro, you just ran another marathon. That's the self-esteem is like you just completed something that less than 1% of the world does. You've done it 3 times, which is really magnificent because I did it once and I'm not motivated to do it a second time. So, but I think I definitely will because it's just in my mind to that if I like prove it that it
Yeah.
wasn't a fluke type situation, which is crazy. I got to prove to myself again. But you've done it 3 times. Do you feel like you will run a fourth, or do you gotta
Crazy.
get a girlfriend and break up again? Is that what we
No,
gotta do to
no,
get you to run a fourth?
I don't never want to go through that again ever. I think I might run one more time, and if I do, the mark has to be I gotta run it under 3:10.
Real quick, you just ran this last marathon, and even though you didn't compete, you came in 14th place.
If I would have competed in the field, I would have beat the person who came in 15. My time was better than his.
So you came in 14th place over on like a person by person base, even though you didn't compete.
Kinda, yeah. If I
Oh,
would have competed with the field instead of the open field, I would have. If I would have been like the 16th person out of 15, yeah.
interesting. That's hard to do. Like, how many people ran a marathon?
Like in total, or
Yeah,
just or
like
the
how many total people
oh,
will run?
probably like 2-3 thousand.
So out of 3,000 people, you come in 14th place. Mind you, these 3,000 people, most of them are not like amateurs, or
Yeah, you
they're
got
are they're like they're not just out there to run. They train for this.
yeah, you got people out there like there's people running. Period. Like while we talking, they running.
People running right now,
They
right?
running right now. So it's people out there running. Like and like I said, I just did it just to kind of pick myself up. But yeah, people running. They out there.
If somebody is thinking about running a marathon, because people ask me all the time, like, what should I do? So let's ask Chris, man. Go. I need you to really, if somebody's thinking of running a marathon, what should they start to do now?
First of you got to just put one foot in front of the other. Like everybody wants to be in shape, everybody wants to look good, but you gotta run. Just get out and just run. It's not gonna be cute. It ain't gonna be for the gram. It ain't gonna be nice. Just run. And then over time, as you see how you do and where you break down and you make improvements, like and then you gotta challenge yourself. Like some days you wanna maybe run an extra mile. Some days you wanna work on
Well, hold
speed.
on, because I want you to take me through a process because I want people to hear this and understand what I need to do first, what I need to do second, and what I need to do continuing moving forward to a marathon. Like almost like how long before should I start training, and what should I do with that training if I want to plan if I plan on running a marathon?
So 3 months, you probably need 3 months. First thing you got to do, start running anywhere between 3 to 5 miles 4 times a week.
Nobody's going to do that. So nobody's going to start running through like that's not going to happen. Like I'm just keeping it real. Like
But you asked me what is it going to take to run a
nobody,
marathon?
but that's not feasible for a person that's just starting. There's no way you're gonna get out there and tell them, all right, so 3-4 miles a day, they're not gonna quit. what's a feasible like start point?
Okay, let's tone it down. 2 to 3 miles. And the thing is, it doesn't matter how you get to those 2 to 3 miles. Just either it takes you walking, it takes you running. Just get 2 to 3 miles.
And this is if you're 90 days out.
Yeah, 90 days out.
Okay, 90 days out. Okay.
Just 2 to 3 miles. Just if you gotta run some, walk some, run some, walk some. Just do that.
7 days a week.
Let's just say four.
Okay. What kind of diet should you have if you're planning to run a marathon?
Um, cut out the sodas, cut out the fast food, cut out the brunches with your homegirls, cut out the alcohol if you can, the wine. Like you gotta just start eating. You don't gotta be a vegetarian, but you gotta start eating in realization that you're about to put your body through something that's about to be extremely like just hard. So, salads, we all know what's good to eat. Fish, chicken. You know when you're eating something bad. So yeah, just start there and then over time just build up your distance. Go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Then when you get to 10, now you're on the right track. When you can get 10 miles in, you're on the right
See,
track.
see, and this is my problem, Chris. See, because the way you are, you're already there. So you thinking in terms of a runner. Let me tell y'all something. When Chris first sent me, he was running like 5 miles. I was not running. So that seems it's almost discouraging. And if you telling me that I gotta get up to 2, 3 miles a day, I'll tell somebody run a slow mile.
No,
No, and that's bad advice.
no. Cause I remember when I first started running, like the very first run I did to try to prepare for the marathon was like 5 miles. And I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know if I was gonna make it. I didn't know, but I had
But you listen. I'll say this again. You have said this, and I will agree. Like Chris is actually different. Like, he's a really different type of person. The way he motivate, the way you motivate yourself, the way you like. You've already talked about your childhood and your sense of achievement, which that's not a regular, you know, situation. So you have that built in you, bro. Most people don't have that in them. They have to build it from now. So for
yeah.
you saying you tell a person, say, I'm gonna go run 5 miles and you're gonna die.
It's a one-on-one
Yeah,
lens. I
you
got
have
you.
that, but people don't have that. So I'm trying to understand it from the average person,
Okay,
not the elite.
okay. Well, from the average person, because I will say this: nobody on average wants to fail. That's just period. Nobody wants to be weak. No one wants to
Okay,
be
I like that.
incompetent. Nobody wants to be second best. So I would just say this: if in whatever you're trying, especially if you're trying a marathon, just set a mark, a standard, and just get there. It doesn't matter how long you get there. It doesn't matter what it takes for you to get there, but just get there. And then when you get there, look at back all the memories, all the experiences, the ups, the downs, the highs, lows, and what it took to get there. And then try to recreate that with as less adversity as you can possibly. And eventually you'll get
Yeah, so I'll say walk a slow mile. I mean, run, not walk, but run
there.
a slow mile
Run.
just to get to the habit of running. Because I think what I've learned was distance didn't matter first. What mattered was building the
The
callus
callus. Yep. You got to
in
get
your
that
feet,
callus. Yeah.
realizing how much your feet is going to hurt, how much your legs is going to
Your
hurt.
knees.
So I think just having your feet hit the pavement builds up the part of marathon that people don't think about.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean by like what should a person really do. I'm glad you talked about the food because you taught me about the food and how important that was.
Yeah.
Eating carbs if you're going to go run, last longer, stuff like that.
Yep.
Um,
Sugars. The day of the
but
race.
beyond that, you are pretty, successful as far as the gym is concerned. What is your gym regimen when you do go?
Till death. Just every day is till death. Like that's just me. And I mean, I remember quiet as kept, I would never work out. And then like what like kind of motivated to work out was when I tried out for like the football team at Fresno State. They told me no, they didn't pick me up. And after that, I just like worked out ever since.
You think that has less? You think that's more to do with you working out, less do with just because you're not 6 foot?
Nah, cause like like I thought I was working out then, but I like, but when you're in the competition and field of it, and you see like other people like performing, and then just to hear like that, no, we don't want you. It was like, damn.
I
So
mean, you was a walk on, right?
I was trying to walk on,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's hard to do though.
I don't. It don't matter if it's hard to do or not. It
Yeah,
had to.
you have to be done. Have to be done for
It
you.
had to be done. But when it didn't, when it didn't get done, it was like, damn, kind of weak. And then it was, and then after that, I was just like, never again. Like,
So not making the football team in college spiraled you down the path to
yeah,
to working out.
it kind of did.
Is there something that you want to tell that coach now today who told you that you wasn't making the team?
Yeah. Thanks.
Right on.
Thanks. I mean, yeah. I am where I am today. Kind of
Yeah.
it. I mean, like I said, I've done some pretty miraculous things, but yeah.
Um, I want to jump over into or we talked about your childhood, and then now we talked a little bit about you talk about your professional career, and we talk about your athleticism and how that has really propelled you, I think, as an individual and carried over into your work life, you know, because of who you are now. You just, like you said, you just built that type of callus. Overall, you're pretty well traveled. You've been a lot of places. Being from Los Angeles, you know, there's pros and cons from being here as well. What do you think some of the cons are now that you've been? Because I remember you wasn't even gonna move back to LA for a minute. You was gonna stay up
Yeah,
north.
like, yeah,
Why?
like.
Why? Like why? Tell me why? Why did you prefer to live up north versus Los Angeles?
I just think it was just the people for me, like, cause like people, like if you ever been in California, you go north and south. Like you used to come up there sometimes
Right.
up north, but it's just the people up north are just they're just genuine, like they're just real. And like I remember, like then people would give you like the shirt off their back, they would open their doors for you, they would feed you, and it just felt like, man, this is like this is like humanity up here, like it's cool. But then you come to SoCal, everybody famous, it's hard, rent high, friends, if they even your friends even anymore, gone, dead. It was just so many elements. And then when I left at 16, I just told myself I'm gonna make some out of myself before I come back. And then like, LA is just it's just LA. It's just yeah.
So you overall rather live in the northern part of California versus the southern?
Now that I'm older, like it's kind of just where the job takes me.
No,
Um
but regardless of the job, like
if I'll
you have
say
you want
this.
you I'm settling. Where are you settling?
Where am I settling? Like
Yeah.
me personally?
Like what in life? Like I'm about my house here. I'm gonna make a
Oh,
like if you had your preference.
that would be it'd be Southern California or
Okay.
Houston.
Okay. All right. I would agree. I think Northern California has way more culture because people grow up there and stay there.
Yeah.
LA, most people don't grow up here. So I think that's what changes the dynamic of what LA is. People come to it. Nobody's really moving to the Northern California. Like
Right.
you're already from there.
Right.
So I think that's what changes the dynamic between place like Northern California and Southern California.
Yeah.
Um, I want to ask you too, when it comes to family and it comes to, like how important is that now as you are as an adult?
Um, I think it's important. I mean, I'll just say, like I said, I've always been a loner. So like I remember just growing up, like all I really had was my mom and my sister and like my grandfather. So like I mean now as I grow up, I see family is like huge and like, I'm doing all these miraculous things to, hopefully benefit and support, them and their endeavors one day. And then, just, from my grandma and all that she kind of helped and, instilled and, blessed us with all the fame and fortune that she has. So family is big. I would say when I was younger, it kind of really wasn't just because I was just so ambitious just to get to just better means to a better place or just to emulate what I saw. But now like as I'm older, like, family's like, it's one of my more bigger priorities. And I actually want a family too. Like, you know, wherever.
Well, you gotta leave it in. I tell you, that's how you do it, man. That's
I
how you
got
get a family.
I gotta find someone to leave it
You
in
gotta leave it in,
with.
man. That's the trick. If anybody out there want to know how to start a family, just leave it in.
Right.
Um, but if you did have an opportunity to, this was your last day, and I always tell people, the day you're born, you sign a contract to die. So we all know that. We understand that, and I think it's beautiful to take the opportunity before it happens to express a message or something that you would want to say to those people if it was your last day.
If it was my last day, I just tell people just do better than what I did. Just be greater than what I was. Do better than what I did. And if anything, hopefully whatever I did helped you get to whatever path or endeavor you on. That I would probably just be it because I want to see people do better than me. Like so, I shoot for the stars or I shoot for highest thing, but I want to see people actually do better than me. Because if you do it better than me, that means I can go to you. You know, sometimes have people coming to me. So yeah.
But you don't make it easy because it's not a lot of people that's gonna run 4 marathons. So
Hey, somebody got to do it.
yeah. But man, I appreciate you spending time with me today, man, and being vulnerable and sharing, part of your story. Today is a big day for you
Yeah.
because you
Um.
have to do your dissertation to get
Yeah.
your PhD, man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you another round of applause for that.
Yeah. I defended today at 5:30. It's live, so if anybody want to jump on and see if I'm as smart as advertised, you're more than welcome.
I'll be on for sure.
Yeah, so you can watch it. The link is on my IG or the picture or whatever the post. But yeah, you can just tune in and see what I'm gonna talk about, and then hopefully they give me the thumbs up, and then tomorrow I'll be a doctor. So yeah,
Tomorrow you'll be a doctor.
tomorrow I'll be
Let that sit in. How does that feel to know that after today you will now be Dr. Collins?
I don't know. It ain't really sunk in yet. Maybe maybe when I just don't have to write or don't have to think about it anymore. I mean, I still think about like, what if I say this or is this or that? What when I don't have to like question, did I do this reference right? Did I write this? And when I then it'll sink in. Or when I hear it, somebody, hey, Dr. Collins, how's it going? I'm like, oh yeah, that's me.
Are
So
you gonna make people call you Dr. Collins?
okay, so this is I'm gonna just give this disclaimer for the summer. Just do this for the summer. If I know you like and it's cool, you can call me Uno, Chris, scumbag, whatever. But if it's on first introduction and I'm just meeting you, like, it's Dr. Collins. It has to. That's just for the summer. Maybe I'll relax the mandate, but yes, Dr. Collins for the summer.
Dr. Collins, man. When I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. Doctor, this so you get used to hearing it. You know what I mean? Just so
Yeah,
you get used to hearing it,
that's
man.
wild.
So like I said, man, I appreciate you coming and spending time with me, sharing some of your story, sharing some of your philosophy. I think it's super important that people know these people out here in LA, Los Angeles. And that's why I call it the LA edition because I'm sharing stories, people from LA who are built a successful life here. And Los Angeles is not the land of the weak. You have to be something special.
Yeah,
And I consider myself bringing special people on. And you are definitely one of those special individuals. You've had a huge impact in my life, especially now we're adults. You have physically inspired me many times over. You still do, and if it wasn't for you, I would not have ran my first marathon.
had to.
So I do appreciate you, man, and I can hear your voice still in the back of my head now. Like, man, you gotta run at least 5. I remember you saying. I remember you saying like I was like, man, I'm running a 10-minute mile. You was like 10 minutes. I ain't even going out there for no 10
Yeah,
minutes.
if it's over 8, what are
I
we
ain't even going out
what
there for
what are
another
we
10 minute
if
mile.
it's over 8, what are we doing?
And that voice always rings in my head when I'm reading my app and it says 10 minutes. 11 I'm like, man, Chris would be disappointed in me right now.
At least you went though. Hey, I'd rather you go and get 10 than get nothing. So at least you went.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you spending time. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been just introduced to Christopher Collins, but tomorrow he will be reintroduced as Dr. Collins, man. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you.
Dang. Oh, dang.